Act 1, Scene 2, a public place in Rome. As Caesar attends the traditional race at the festival of Lupercal, a soothsayer warns him to beware the Ides of March, or March 15th. The middle day of each month was called the Ides. When Caesar leaves, Cassius and Brutus speak. Cassius tries to turn Brutus against Caesar by using flattery, examples of Caesar's weaknesses, and sarcasm about Caesar's power. Caesar passes by again, expressing his distrust of Cassius. Cassius and Brutus learn of Caesar's reluctant rejection of a crown that his friend Antony had offered him. They agreed to meet again and to discuss what must be done about Caesar. A flourish of trumpets announces the approach of Caesar. A large crowd of commoners has assembled. A soothsayer is among them. Enter Caesar, his wife Calpurnia, Portia, Decius, Cicero, Brutus, Cassius, Casca, and Antony, who was stripped for running in the games. Calpurnia.
Peace ho. Caesar speaks.
Calpurnia.
Here, my lord.
Stand you directly in Antonius' way, when he doth run his course, Antonius.
Caesar, my lord.
Forget not in your speed, Antonius, to touch Calpurnia, for our elders say that the baron touched in his holy chased off their sterile curse.
I shall remember. When Caesar says, do this, it is performed.
Set on, and leave no ceremony out. Flourish of trumpets. Caesar starts to leave.
Caesar.
Ah, who calls?
Bid everyone noise be still. Peace yet again.
Who is it in the press that calls on me? I hear a tongue shriller than all the music. Cry, Caesar, speak. Caesar is turned to hear.
Beware the Ides of March.
What man is that?
A soothsayer bids to beware the Ides of March.
Set him before me. Let me see his face.
Fellow, come from the throng. Look upon Caesar.
What sayest thou to me now? Speak once again.
Beware the Ides of March.
He is a dreamer. Let us leave him pass. Trumpets sound. Exunt all but Brutus and Cassius.
Will you go to see the order of the course?
Not I.
I pray you do.
I am not gamesome. I do lack some part of the quick spirit that is in Antony. Let me not hinder. Cassius, your desires, I'll leave you.
Brutus, I do observe you now of late. I have not from your eyes that gentleness and show of love as I was wont to have. You bear too stubborn and too strange a hand over your friend that loves you.
Cassius, be not deceived. If I have veiled my look, I turn to trouble of my countenance, merely upon myself. Vexed I am, of late with passions of some difference, conceptions only proper to myself, which give some soil, perhaps to my behaviors, but let not, therefore, my good friends to be grieved. Among which number Cassius be you one, your consular, and further my neglect than that poor Brutus, with himself at war, forgets the shows of love to other men.
Then, Brutus, I have much mistook your passion, by means whereof this breast of mine hath buried thoughts of great value, worthy cogitations. Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face?
No, Cassius, for the eyes see not itself, but by reflection, by some other things.
'Tis just, and it is very much lamented, Brutus, that you have no such mirrors as will turn your hidden worthiness into your eye, that you might see your shadow. I have heard where many the best respect in Rome, except immortal Caesar, speaking of Brutus and groaning underneath this age's yoke, have wished that noble Brutus had his eyes.
Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius, that you would have me seek into myself for that which is not in me?
Therefore, good Brutus, be prepared to hear, and since you know you cannot see yourself, so well as by reflection, I, your glass, will modestly discover to yourself that of yourself which you yet not know of. And be not jealous on me, gentle Brutus, were I a common laugher, or did use to stale with ordinary oaths my love to every new protester. If you know that I do fawn on men and hug them hard, and after scandal them, if you know that I profess myself in banqueting to all the rout, then hold me dangerous.
Flourish and shout.
What means this shouting? I do fear the people choose Caesar for their king.
Aye, do you fear it? Then must I think you would not have it so.
I would not, Cassius, yet I love him well. But wherefore do you hold me here so long? What is it that you would impart me? If it be aught toward the general good, set honor in one eye and death eye the other, and I will look on both indifferently. For let the gods so speed at me as I love the name of honor more than I fear death.
I know that virtue to be in you, Brutus, as well as I do know your outward favor. Well, honor is the subject of my story. I cannot tell you what you and other men think of this life, but for my single self, I had as lief not be as lived to be in awe of such a thing as I myself. I was born free as Caesar, so were you. We both have fed as well, and we can both endure the winter's cold as well as he. For once upon a raw and gusty day, the troubled Tiber chafing with her shores, Caesar said to me, Darst thou, Cassius, now leap in with me into this angry flood, and swim to yonder point. Upon the word, a coward as I was, I plunged in and bade him to follow, so indeed he did. The torrent roared, and we did buffet it with lusty sinews, throwing it aside and stemming it with hearts of controversy. But ere we could arrive the point proposed, Caesar cried, Help me, Cassius, or I sink! I, as Aeneas, our great ancestor, did from the flames of Troy upon his shoulder the old Anchises bear. From the waves of the Tiber did I the tired Caesar. And this man is now become a god, and Cassius is a wretched creature, and must bend his body if Caesar carelessly but not on him. He had a fever when he was in Spain, and when the fit was on him, I did mark how he did shake. 'Tis true this god did shake. His coward lips did from their colour fly, and that same eye whose bend doth all the world did lose his lustre. I did hear him groan, aye, and that the tongue of his bade the Romans mark him and write his speeches in their books. Alas, it cried, Give me some drink, Titinius. As a sick girl, ye gods, it doth amaze me a man of such feeble temper should get to start of the majestic world and bear the palm alone.
Shout, flourish.
Another general shout. I do believe that these applauses are for some new honors that are heaped on Caesar.
Why, man? He doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we petty men walk under his huge legs and peep about to find ourselves dishonorable graves. Men at some time are masters of their fates. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings. Brutus and Caesar, what should be in that Caesar? Why should that name be sounded more than yours? Write them together, yours is as fair a name. Sound them, it doth become the mouth as well. Weigh them, it is as heavy. Conjure with him. Brutus will start a spirit as soon as Caesar. And now in the names of all the gods at once, upon what meat doth this our Caesar feed, that he is grown so great? Age, thou art shamed. Rome thou hast lost a breed of noble bloods. One went there by an age since the great flood, but it was famed with more than with one man. When could they say, till now, that talked of Rome, that her wide walls encompass but one man? Now is it Rome indeed and room enough, when there is in it but only one man? Oh, you and I have heard our fathers say there was a Brutus once that would have brooked the eternal devil to keep his state in Rome as easily as a king.
That you do love me, I am nothing jealous. What you would work me to, I have some aim. How I have thought of this, and of these times, I shall recount hereafter. For this present, I will not. So with love, I might entreat you. Be any further moved, what you have said, I will consider. What you have to say, I will with patience hear, and find a time both me to hear and answer such high things. Till then, my noble friend, true upon this. Brutus had rather be a villager than to repute himself a son of Rome. Under these hard conditions, at this time, his life to play upon us.
I am glad that my weak words have struck but thus much show of fire from Brutus.
Voices and music are heard approaching.
The games are done, and Caesar is returning.
As they pass by, pluck Casca by the sleeve, and he will, after his sour fashion, tell you what hath proceeded worthy note today.
Re-enter Caesar and his trained followers.
I'll do so, but look, Cassius, the angry spot doth glow on Caesar's brow, and all the rest look like a chidden train. Calpurnia's cheek is pale, and Cicero looks with such ferret and such fiery eyes as we have seen him in the Capitol, being crossed in conference by some senators.
Casca will tell us what is the matter.
Caesar looks at Cassius and turns to Antony. Antonius?
Caesar,
Let me have men about me that are fat, sleek-headed men, and such as sleep o' nights. Young Cassius has a lean and hungry look. He thinks too much, and such men are dangerous.
fear him not, Caesar. He's not dangerous. He's a noble Roman and well-given.
Would he were fatter, but I fear him not. Yet, if my name were liable to fear, I do not know the man I should avoid so soon as that spare Cassius read he reads much. He is a great observer, and he looks quite through the deeds of men. He loves no plays as thou dost, Antony. He hears no music, seldom he smiles, and smiles in such a sport as if he mocked himself and scorned his spirit that could be moved to smile at anything. Such men as he be never at heart's ease, whilst they beyond a greater than themselves, and therefore are they very dangerous. I rather tell thee what is to be feared than what I fear, for I always am Caesar. Come on my right hand, for this ear is deaf, and tell me truly what you thinks of him. Trumpets sound, exult Caesar and all his train, except Casca, who stays behind.
You put me by the cloak. Would you please speak with me?
Ah, Casca, tell us what hath chanced today that Caesar looks so sad.
Why, you were with him, were not?
I should not then ask Casca what had chanced.
Why, there was a crown offered him, and being offered him, he put it by with the back of his hand, thus, and then the people fell shouting.
What was the second most for?
Why, for that too.
They shouted thrice. What was the last cry for?
Why, for that too.
Was the crown offered him thrice?
I, Mary, was it. And he put it by thrice, every time gentler than other, and at every putting by mine, honest neighbors shouted.
Who offered him the crown?
Why, Antony?
Tell us the manner of it, gentle Casca.
I can as well be hanged as tell the manner of it. It was mere foolery. I did not mark it. I saw Mark Antony offered him a crown. Yet was not a crown neither, was one of these coronets, and as I told you, he put it by once, but for all that, to my thinking, he would fain have had it. Then he offered it to him again. Then he put it by again, but to my thinking, he was very loath to lay his fingers of it. And then he offered it the third time. He put it the third time by, and still as he refused it, the rabblemen hooted and clapped their chapped hands, and threw up their sweety nightcaps, and uttered such a deal of stinking breath, because Caesar refused the crown that it had almost choked Caesar, for he swung it and fell down at it. And for mine own part, I durst not laugh, for fear of opening my lips and receiving the bad air.
But soft, I pray you. What did Caesar swound?
He fell down in the marketplace, and foamed at mouth, and was speechless.
'Tis very like. He hath the unfailing sickness.
No, Caesar hath not it, but you and I and honest Casca, we have the falling sickness.
I know not what you mean by that, but I'm sure Caesar fell down. If the tag-rag people did not clap him and hiss him, according as he pleased and displeased them, as they used to do the players in the theatre, I'm no true man.
What said he when he came unto himself?
Mary, before he fell down, when he perceived the common herd was glad, he refused the crown. He plucked me, his doublet, and offered them his throat to cut. And I had been a man of any occupation, if I would not have taken him at a word, I might go to hell among the robbers. And so he fell. When he came to himself again, he said, if he had done or said anything amiss, he desired their worships to think it was his infirmity. 3 or 4 wenches, where I stood tried, allies, good soul, and forgave him with all their hearts. But there is no heed to be taken of them. If Caesar has stabbed their mothers, they would have done no less.
And after that, he came thus sad away.
Aye.
Did Cicero say anything?
Aye, he spoke Greek.
To what effect?
Nay, and I tell you that I'll never look you eye the face again. But those that understood him smiled at one another and shook their heads. But for my own part, it was Greek to me. I could tell you more news too. Marcellus and Flavius, for pulling scarves off Caesar's images, are put to silence. Fare you well. There was more foolery yet, if I could remember it.
Will you sup with me tonight, Casca?
No, I am promised forth.
Will you dine with me tomorrow?
If I be alive, and you mind hold, and your dinner worth eating.
Good, I will expect you.
Do so. Farewell both.
Exit.
What a blunt fellow. Is this a grown to be? He was quick mettle when he went to school.
So is he now in execution of any bold or noble enterprise. However, he puts on this tardy form, this rudeness as a sauce to his good wit, which gives men's stomach to digest his words with better appetite.
And so it is. For this time I will leave you. Tomorrow, if you please to speak with me, I will come home to you, or if you will, come home to me, and I will wait for you.
I will do so. Till then, think of the world.
Exit Brutus.
Well, Brutus, thou art noble, yet I see that honorable metal may be wrought from that is disposed. Therefore it is meet that noble minds keep ever with their likes, for who's so firm that cannot be seduced. Caesar doth bear me hard, but he loves Brutus. If I were Brutus now and he were Cassius, he should not humor me. I will this night in several hands and at this window throw, as they came from several citizens, writings all tending the great opinion that Rome holds of his name, wherein obscurely Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at, and after this let Caesar seat him sure. For we will shake him, or worse days endure.
Exit.